Welcome back to the channel. This is Pistol Pete, working real estate in Santa Cruz County. Today, I'm gonna go over and explain the process of negotiating mid-escrow. So this includes the difference between asking for a credit, going after a price reduction, or requesting that repairs be made during the escrow process. So you're in escrow right now and something comes up. Maybe you find out that the septic system isn't working properly, or you find out that the sewer lateral needs a repair, or there's a hole in the roof that's leaking, or maybe there's some plumbing that's leaking. Whatever the case may be, it's something that you'd feel like you want to negotiate about. Whether you have a physical contingency or not in your transaction makes all the difference. So for this video, we're going to assume that you do have a physical contingency. Also critical is the type of finding, whether it's something that was disclosed previously or it's something that you found out during your own inspections, reports, or review with a contractor. We're going to be using the example of a sewer lateral repair that has been bid out on paper for $10,000 just as a reference point. So $10,000 is now in contention. The buyer would then propose to either ask for a credit from the seller for closing costs for the value of the report or whatever amount that you chose that was either there or below, a price reduction based on the report, or ask the seller to go ahead and repair it with instructions. So let's break these down. Option number one is that you have a credit request to the seller. So as a buyer, you have your written bid for this $10,000 sewer lateral estimate. So this is where you request the seller to give you a closing cost credit. Now it's really important before you dive into this 100% to check with your lender and to check with your escrow officer to make sure that you have the available credits to actually take. Because sometimes if you make too large of a request for a credit, then the extra credits that can't be used just go back to the seller, and that's not gonna help you at all, even if you've negotiated for them. The second option that you have as a buyer in a mid-escrow negotiation is to request a price reduction. So this is when you actually lower the price of the contract that you have to purchase the property. So this is good typically for larger requests. I find that a lot of buyers are interested in lowering their price because it lowers their future tax burden. But in reality, it's usually a minimal difference in tax burden over a long period of time. The credit is more effective for the money in your pocket now. But let's stick on this. So if you've got a larger request, price reduction may be effective. Option number three is that you request the repairs to be done during escrow. This can be a very effective strategy, but one that you have to be very specific with. If you simply ask for the performance of a certain repair, the seller can just pick whoever they want. And remember, you want to make sure that you're getting this done right. So if you have a bid, you should make sure that your request states that you have that bid and it gets done by that contractor, and then make sure it's time bound. It has to be with a certain amount of time or prior to close of escrow or maybe prior to final walkthrough. So remember, this is a process of going back and forth. Typically it's a negotiation. When I use this process, I like to give the seller every reason to accept our offer. And so when I send it over, I typically send it with a removal of contingency for that specific contingency. So let's say it's a physical contingency. I'll send that contingency removal over with our request. And so it's tied to that request. If they accept the request to do what we ask for, then they get commitment from us for the rest of the deal. So it makes it a high incentive type of situation for the seller to accept. You may negotiate with the seller and the seller may negotiate with you. Just remember during this entire process to keep your priorities in mind and to try to keep a clear head. Buying a house and negotiating mid-escrow, especially when things can go sideways, can get pretty emotional. As an agent, I always like to bring a clear mind to the situation, remind my clients of their priorities, and then make sure to get the best possible outcome for them. So I will suggest things that will create the best possible outcome for you. So whatever your situation is, we may use all of these. We may use one of them, we may use a mix, but we can come up with a solution that's gonna be right for your situation. So if this video is helpful for you, please hit that like button. It really helps us out and spreads the word. Also, if you're interested in real estate, please think about subscribing to my channel. I cover things like community interviews with local people in Santa Cruz County. I cover unique homes, which are tours of different houses all throughout the area. And then I also do tip videos just like this to help you learn more about real estate and just get a good sense about it so that you're prepared for when you make your purchase or sale. Again, this is Pistol Pete with Room Real Estate, and if you're ready to buy or sell, please give me a call. My direct line is 831-471-7330. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.